Please allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Jaime Christkiller. I just flew in from the Elders of the Protocol of Zion Convention, and boy, are my arms tired. You should have seen what happened there. When the rabbis found out that the lampshades were made of kosher animal skins, they put them on over their yarmulkes, and they ran all around the hotel. And oy, the dancing goyles! The rabbis made them wear bikinis to separate the milk from the meat. One of the rabbis was so enamored, he even married one of the goyles. Then he took her to Bangor, Maine for their honeymoon. And now a few words for you Jew-hating followers of Mohammed. The Pollyanna apologists in the West calculate the number of radical Muslims at approximately 3% of the adherents of Islam. So let me do the math for you. That equates to 60 million crazy fanatics. Believe me, they cannot wait to slit the throats of you pillow fighters who champion their cause. Muhammad was a no-good, plagiarizing, pilfering, copycat thief. He stole all the concepts of his religion from the Jews and foolishly thought that we would follow him in his new and improved religion. But we Jews can smell a carny a mile away. What choice did Muhammad have when we refused his offer, except to exhort his disciples to kill the infidels? Where did Muhammad come up with his idea for halal? Well, he took it from our kosher dietary laws. And how about the Friday call to prayers? Well, let's see, Saturday and Sunday were already secured. And then suddenly, somehow, Abraham was going to sacrifice his son Ishmael and not Isaac? Give me a break. Now, let me give you a little tip on how he came up with his idea of ritual circumcision. Another blatant rip-off. The only thing Muhammad got right was in Hadith 17 of the Quran, where it says, Moses took his people to their promised land. Muhammad was also a child molester. He married a little 6-year-old girl. But he waited until she was 9 to consummate the marriage. What a guy! Muhammad was obviously impotent. He could not even sire a son that survived childhood. Although he was known to have as many as 13 wives, Muhammad possessed inferior sperm as a result of his inability to sire a successor. There has been a schism in Islam that has lasted for over 1,400 years. This hatred between the Sunni and the Shiite is even deeper and more visceral than the enmity that exists between the M&M Plain and the M&M Peanut faction. And now I'd like to quote to you from a 13th century publication written by Rustichello de Pisa, entitled The Book of the Marvels of the World, in which he tells of conversations he had with Marco Polo when both of them were imprisoned in a cell in Genoa after being captured from their ship. And I quote, "The militant Muslim is the person who beheads the infidel, while the moderate Muslim holds the feet of the victim Well, it looks like those good old days are here again. Did you know that Jerusalem is mentioned 450 times in the Hebrew Torah, and not even once in the Quran? In the book of Deuteronomy, Moses tells his people that they will be exiled from their land and dispersed to the four corners of the world. King Solomon further warns the Jewish Israelites that because of their actions, they will be expelled from their land, and it will remain barren and desolate until they return. And then when that happens, numerous attempts will be made to wrestle the land from us. How prophetic can you get? Look how Israel has blossomed. Remember back in 1948, when Jews were thrown out of every Arab country, their assets were seized, and they were sent en masse to the new Jewish state. This was an attempt to overwhelm and bankrupt the fledgling Jewish state. But God protected his people, and Israel absorbed them all. That act ended in your failure. Catholics have Vatican City. Protestants can lay claim to Holy Toledo. The Mormons live in Salt Lake City. But Muslims turn their ass to Jerusalem when they bow to Mecca and Medina. So guess what? We Jews have Jerusalem. Get over it. You attacked Israel 5 times and lost every time. Get used to it. When you go to Las Vegas and lose all your money gambling, you do not get to go to the pit boss and say, "Please give me back my money, and I promise never to gamble again." We are the roadrunner, and you are the coyote. You keep ordering dynamite, bombs, and rockets from the Ahmed Company, and they keep backfiring on your Muslim asses. Why does Israel keep winning? It's because God has promised the Holy Land to us. There has never been a bigger, more whining, and hypocritical group of people than you Muslim Arabs. You say you want to live like Muhammad did back in the 7th century, and then when you get bombed back to those good old days, you start crying. "Please stop shooting, stop bombing, have mercy." You teach your children to become suicide bombing martyrs, and then you complain when they get killed while attacking others. In 2014, Israel dropped 400 tons of bombs on Gaza in 2 days, with only 28 fatalities. Either the Israeli army have very poor marksmen, or you Muslim Arabs are the luckiest people on the face of the earth. The outcry against those casualties inflicted by Israel, responding to incoming rocket fire, pale in comparison to the slaughter of the Janjaweed in the Sudan, the murder, rape, and church burning of Boko Haram in Nigeria, and the atrocities inflicted by ISIL, or is it ISIS, or is it Daesh, in Syria, Libya, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and probably a couple of other stands. Take your complaints against Israel to the people for the ethical treatment of animals, and not the United Nations. Just think what might have become of your Palestinian brothers and sisters, living in squalor and poverty in refugee camps, if you had opened up your countries to them and used the resources spent for arms to attack Israel to benefit them. And what a divine way to celebrate the ugliness of your Muslim women, by dressing them in black from head to toe, and then sending them out into the hot desert sun. And let's not forget the highlight of every Muslim bachelor party. The mandatory wet burqa contest. Why do you think there are so many Muslim suicide bombers? Well, let me tell you why. If I had to bow down 5 times a day and smell the asshole of some Muslim Arab in front of me that doesn't bathe, well, I would be the first one in line to blow myself up. And now I'd like to show you who I refer to as Mohammed Jr. As you know, we Jews control the world. Here's some more visual proof. This is a photograph taken of some of the board members of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion with President of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. They have agreed to appeal to President Barack Hussein Obama to pardon the American Taliban known as Jihad Johnny, captured on the battlefield in Afghanistan, so that he can host the 2015 International Jihad Award Show. Originally, they wanted the bloke that assassinated Pakistani President Benazir Bhutto, but the idiot blew himself up. And now I've got to take a shit. Oh, I'm out of toilet paper.